Hey gang, it's Dave Cudlack from The Adventure Awaits, and boy am I excited to have you with me today. My good friend Richard Tibby and I left Twin Waters this morning and drove to Gladstone in the northeast Queensland, and I am standing on board the Eastern Voyager getting ready to do a 7-day fishing trip offshore at the Swain's Reef. This is an 85-foot dual catamaran, and you can see some of the fishing tackle already stowed. Richard and I are on board with a few of the other folks that are going to be on this vessel with us this week, and quite frankly it's typically a 20-person trip, but due to the coronavirus they only have 10 of us today, and there'll be only 10 of us on board for the whole week. So I'll be tracking this through the whole week. I'll be getting daily updates, but I will give you a quick view of the marina as we get ready to take off. We will be heading out, steaming overnight to get to the Swain's Reef, and then start fishing tomorrow. So with a bit of luck, we will be fish on board before sunup. Here's a wonderful shot of the Gladstone Marina from the little promenade mezzanine area that is there, where the tackle store, cafes, coffee shop, etc. Just a little walk along the boardwalk, and you see the Eastern Voyager there in the distance. That was to be our home for the next week. I'm going to give you a quick tour of that boat now. And here we are at the bow. It's quite a large boat, as I said earlier. It's an 85-foot trawler that has been converted into an offshore fishing boat. And that's the helm station, where Captain Danny did a great job during the entire week of keeping us safe and navigating through the reef areas. It was quite shallow in many places. Hard to believe that, 120 miles offshore, but it was at the lower end, the southern end of the Great Barrier Reef. And these small tinnies, these 12-foot long boats, were very well configured and outfitted for each of us to use during the week. Usually 2 to 4 persons per boat. Richard and I had one dedicated to ourselves for the week, but they had depth sounder, and they provided all the fuel and the bait and everything that was needed for safety, as well as life jackets and all of that type of thing. So it was a very well appointed little boat to go fishing in during the week. Here's a quick interior tour of the boat. Richard and I were fortunate enough to share a 4-person cabin, so you had a top bunk for laying out all your gear and still had a very comfortable place to sleep. And we were down one deck below the main deck, and we were navigating up and down those stairs quite a bit during the week. But as a tour through the boat, you have the galley, and this is where our onboard chef Joe, she did a fantastic job of meat and 3 veg for us for the entire week. Always had coffee on and something sweet to eat if you needed it, and morning tea, etc. And this was where she kept to herself most of the time, but did a fantastic job looking after us for the week with fresh meals. Breakfast served every morning at 6 and dinner every evening at 6:30, and this was the main dining area. You'll see a small television entertainment area, but I can tell you that it was never used because we were exhausted after the ends of each day fishing. But as I mentioned earlier, this could typically have 20 people sitting around here for dinner, but there were only actually 7 fishermen and a crew of 4 for the week. We had a few last-minute changes, but with the coronavirus, they did a fantastic job of sanitizing everything every day. Here you see Jesse, who was one of the deckhands, but a fantastic fisherman, who is also doing double duty, helping Joe keep the galley and the rest of the ship clean and sanitized each week, or each day. And as we departed at around 3:30 outside of the Gladstone Marina, it was great conditions, and we were motoring along at around 8 knots, and we steamed overnight. And here you see the great sunset on the first evening. The next morning we were up and fishing by 6 a.m.